Dzień dobry, nazywam się Błażej Hrabkowicz, to jest 28. edycja festiwalu EnergaCAMERIMAGE w Toruniu i online. Hello, this is Błażej Hrabkowicz, 28th edition of EnergaCAMERIMAGE Festival in Toruń and online. And nasz wspaniały gość, our fantastic guest, cinematographer Marcel Zyskind. Hello, Marcel.
Hello, Błażej, and hello, Camerimage. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. The festival, I think, is doing very well. And you?
Yes, I cannot complain. I'm at home, so could be worse.
Yeah, where are you?
I'm just outside Copenhagen.
Just outside Copenhagen. Okay, so not a lot of time difference. We didn't wake you up or something like that.
No. Same time difference.
Yeah. Looking for your body of work, Marcel, I found a lot of very well, maybe not a lot of, but some of the very gritty camera work, like the things that you did with Michael Winterbottom, for example, in a Mighty Heart, which is a very gritty, grainy drama. And I'm interested in how the film we are sort of celebrating on this festival. Your film with Viggo Mortensen, Falling. Of course, if the festival wasn't online, the celebration would be bigger and so on. But still, we're talking to you and Viggo about this film. How this film, Falling, was a different experience for you, if it was, compared to what you did before.
I mean, I think every film that you do is a different experience, even though it's even if it's with the same director. Sometimes, often with Michael, we would be in Pakistan shooting a film, and the next film would be in England in the countryside, and then suddenly we're back again in India for another film. And so
Michael Winterbottom is well known for making every picture different.
I would say so. It's very he's quite prolific. He likes to jump from one genre to another, and he tries not to point himself down in a pigeonhole or something like that. And I think, but I mean, working with Viggo has been a totally different experience. I would think he prepares differently. He has a different approach. He's acting in the film himself. It couldn't be any more different. But that's what's also a big pleasure of making films with different people. That the process is different, and that you get to experience creativity in different ways.
Do you have your own process, which is always there, regardless of if you're with Michael Winterbottom or with Viggo Mortensen or Lukas Moodysson, with whom you also did a film?
I think when you have yourself and your taste and your ideas that come from whatever you are working on, and the project you're working on is obviously it's growing on you while you're away, you're researching, you're scouting, then you have yourself as a you are the tool in a way for yourself, for the director. So that is one thing that I use, of course, myself. But I don't know. I mean, you have certain ways of looking at things. You have certain ways of how do you say it? To go to a certain piece of I'm trying to find the English word, but it's escaping me now. But it's a way of how do you put yourself towards something? How do you find whatever it is you're looking for in a creative manner? I mean, how do you I'm confusing myself even by not finding this word. I mean, it's your gut feeling, really. That's what I think it is. And you know, obviously you have your camera, you take pictures, you're thinking about how you make the scene in this given location that you found or in the studio that you build. What is the, you know, what is it inside you that tell you this is the right approach, or this is the right approach, or this is not the right approach, which is often also equally important. Finding out is that doesn't work, let's try this instead. So I mean, and that evolves over time. I think, you know, you have a taste, you have like certain fallback scenarios in ways of troubleshooting, in ways of dealing with problems that is, you know, different from every person. So, and that comes from experience, I think, often, and taste, and you know, I think taste also changes throughout your time, but also stays with you in ways that you don't really know, like subconsciously they're just there. And what is it that attracts you to an image, to light, to what is it that attracts you inside of, what is it that ticks the boxes in your mind of what is nice or good or bad, and they can turn around, you know, for every project it's different. And like you started out saying that, oh, but some of Michael's films are gritty and you know, rough, and those were the right approaches for those films, I think. And this, you know, because Michael came from a lot of films that were made in a more classical, more sort of a classic approach to making films. And when he met me, and he sort of just took me and said, you know, it's you and me and the sound recorders, then off we go, you know. And it's like documentary approach, or just not so much documentary even, because you are sort of developing things by fiction, you know, but it's more of a cutting to the bone, you know, being very, you know, being sparse with the amount of people around you. And that's something that's stuck with me for many years, I think, trying to keep, even though I'm not always in control fully of how big a film crew is, but, you know, I'm trying to keep, even for Viggo's film, and Viggo's film wasn't a huge budget, it was, you know, a small budget film, so it wasn't a huge crew
production,
but but it's you know, you try to keep it nice and cozy and just the right size, so that you can achieve the things that you want in the time that you have.
Do you, in your experience, did you have this experience of working with directors that really precisely prepare what the film will look like, including, for example, storyboards, or just, you know, just every frame in their mind? And on the other hand, with the directors who like to sort of get to know things on the set?
It's not been that many films that I did that have been storyboarded all the way through. I mean, one film I did with Hossamini a few years ago, he had that storyboarded quite early, even before I came aboard. He had not all of it, but quite a lot of it. But the key scenes, like the ending of that film with the chase, and some other scenes I remember we did after we sort of found the locations and researched and sort of made them from our from the images that I had taken on the locations, and then we sort of made the storyboards, we had it, and we had the whole film, but we never in the process sort of stood and said, you know, this is the frame that we do. But because we had prepared so well for that film, that every location we went to, we kind of knew where we wanted the camera. It was a matter of discussing, you know, what is the right amount of, what is the right time to be here for the, you know, if we want the sun, or all these sort of practical things that you go through. But I've never done a feature film where we follow a storyboard all the way through, to be honest. And you know, I mean, depends a lot on the directors that you're working with. If I was working with the Coen brothers, I would have a different approach, I think. And I don't know even, and perhaps if you get a chance to speak to Roger Deakins, I'm not sure how precise they are on the day when they actually are they standing with the storyboard itself, or do they already know them so well because they're prepared?
From what I heard about the Coen brothers, they are really, really precise about what their film would look like, and I think they're one of these directors that have the frames and the look of the film very precisely.
And you can see it as well, I think. But I'm wondering whether they actually stand on the set on the day with the storyboard. And I don't think they do, because I think they're already so well prepared that they already know what they're doing. So the storyboard is just something that happens quite early in the process also, and that once you have that, you can use it along the way to refresh yourself, and you think, okay, this is the right approach, and you have the film laid out already in front of you in storyboards. And a film I just recently did here in Denmark, we shot it earlier this fall. We had storyboarded a certain amount of scenes because we knew those are going to be tricky on the day to stand, and sort of we just didn't want to be sort of caught out by anything. We wanted to be sure that we knew exactly how, and there were some VFX things to do in them as well. So you prepare the way you think is right for each film, I think.
Yeah, you mentioned about following the film you did with Viggo Mortensen, that you just set out to achieve the things you wanted to achieve on the budget you had and during the time you had. So tell us a bit more about these things you wanted to achieve with Viggo Mortensen. Because of course it's a very specific situation. He's directing, but he's also the star of the film. And this is a very intimate story, obviously. Visually, in terms of what the film looks like, what the camera does, what were your main ideas? What did you try to achieve with Viggo?
Well, there's certain aspects to that, because there's the camera movement, there's the lighting, there's the sort of tone of the film, and I think the main thing for me to do with this film was to sort of, how do you know, it's a very kind of it's a family drama with a big F and D. It's like it's quite it can be a tough film to watch, and I was like, we were sort of, I didn't want to overly take notice of myself really with the camera work or with the lighting. I wanted it to be quite not spectacular in a way. It's just kind of normal. If that's, I don't know if that sounds wrong or bad, but it's just something I didn't, I think there were so many, it was such a sort of close to heart story for Viggo that I just thought, the film and the actors should just be able to act in it and be there, not wanting to sort of, overly dramatize the camera work or the lighting. So it was quite straight storytelling from the camera and the lighting perspective, I think. There was, I was going for a naturalistic look in the terms of the farm and the light, and certain scenes as flashbacks are warmer in tones because they are memories of perhaps a childhood which is, you remember, nicer or softer, and then there's the reality of the present day, which is winter and cold, so they are naturally colder and more contrasty, I think. Mm-hmm. We chose to, and maybe in one way that I did want to sort of put a little bit of a twist on it, was to choose to shoot anamorphic for this. So I thought, okay, maybe we go with a little bit more, straight sort of, not huge camera movements, nothing, no cranes, no such. There was, certain scenes were shot with a crane, but it's not supposed to look like a crane shot as such. It was the choice was to shoot anamorphic, just to give it a bit of an otherworldly kind of look to it, to sort of give it a little bit more scale in terms of, and also because the space of the anamorphic frame does give you a nice space to frame several people, and discussing and talking, and I quite like the anamorphic frame and the 240 format, so it came naturally.
Yeah. Thank you, Marcel, for talking to us about Falling and some other films you made. Let's hope to see each other in Torun next year or in the future when we can.
Yes.
And have a nice evening. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too, Blaže. Thank you for asking all the nice questions. All the best.
Bye-bye. All the best.
Thank you.